Okay, so Kant, we're back with Kantian ethics here in Superstructure Wesch lesson 7. Kant is our intellectual here. He's a Enlightenment intellectual German philosopher who sort of brought in modernity, at least with regard to ethics here. Sort of the Christian idea of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is the golden rule. It's found in many religions, and so Kant just sort of took it to a logical extension here by saying, um, instead of doing unto others what you think they would want you to, what you would want them to do to you, um, just treat every other person um, as if they were making free decisions without being constrained in any way, and always try to make them more free, to help them be more free. He also thought that you should treat others not merely as a means to an end, but also as ends in themselves. So that's not to say that we shouldn't treat others as means to an end. We should always do what we have to do. So if we have a customer, we treat them as the means to a sale. If we have um, uh, 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 um, someone we're trying to get something from, a professor or a student, if we have a friend that we're trying to get to do something for us, if we have, somebody that we're trying to weasel something out of, that's normal. It's normal to treat other people as means to an end. You're trying to get something, and you're using people, and so we shouldn't try to not be users. We're going to use one another because that's normal life. But we should also try to think of them as ends in themselves. That every single other person on the planet is a unique human being. This is a very sort of Christian argument here that everyone should be treated as uniquely valuable, and that we should just try to do it because they are who they are, not because they can do something for us. Always. Um, and so these are very reasonable. This is very sort of well thought out arguments. Hate finds the opposite. Hate finds that we intuit what is right based on emotion. We taste something, and if it feels disgusting to us, then we think, "Wow, that's really bad," and then we start making up reasons. Sort of after the fact, why this is something really bad. When we taste something else and it tastes really great, we're like, wow, that's the best thing ever. And then we start reasoning our way to why that's such a good thing. So all reason is actually after the judgment that takes place. The judgment takes place first, positive or negative, visceral, emotional reaction to something, and then the reasoning is all it's all just rationalization for um, why our decision to do this was such a good one. Uh, so actually, there are 6 foundations of morality, and all of them related to common emotions, according to Haidt. So care and harm, based on empathy, sympathy, and compassion. Fairness and cheating, based on anger, gratitude, and guilt. The third one is loyalty and betrayal, based on pride, rage, and ecstasy. The fourth one is authority and subversion, based on obedience and respect. These are all emotional responses, and then we have these theories about why it's important to follow authority or why it's important to disobey. Sanctity and degradation, based on disgust and aversion, um, and then liberty and oppression based on righteous anger. So all of these emotions are primary, and then they lead us to sort of reason our way to why sanctity is good and degradation is bad. It's just because we had a disgusting reaction of disgust to something or another. Understanding other moralities. If we think about ourselves right now, never Trumpers versus pro Trumpers. Liberals think conservatives are heartless and selfish, um, when in fact conservatives are pursuing a broader range of positive moral values than liberals are. So this comes back to this whole 2 basic views of society and human nature: utopian and tragic. This whole idea that we are good in our core, but our cultures and societies corrupt us. This is what Islam teaches, this is what Judaism teaches, is that we started out good and then we were taught something wrong. Laws and rules can be oppressive. We should feel free to create a more just, free, and equal society by changing these oppressive laws and rules. As opposed to the tragic conservatives, this is what Christianity teaches, is that we are born bad. We are constrained and limited in how much good we can ever do. We are prone to violence and selfishness. It's pointless to try to eliminate oppression because it would just pop up again. There's always going to be something bad. The only thing keeping us from chaos, the natural tendency is toward chaos. And the only thing keeping us from that is laws and rules. So we should be very careful about thoughtlessly discarding precious and sacred institutions. So this is where conservatism comes from. Conserve what we have instead of going forward. Reach back. So 5 good reasons to consider the other side. Both liberal and conservative perspectives offer wisdom. They each have a certain amount of wisdom to offer. They each reveal the blind spots in the other. People who always look on the bright side miss the possibility for oppression and violence. The people who always look for what's bad is going to happen miss all the good stuff, right? Our political differences are natural and unavoidable. Some people have studied the way our brains work, and it seems like we're almost hardwired sometimes to be liberal or conservative. Although that's nonsense, of course, because culture, different societies can have identical genetic, more or less identical gene pools and have completely opposite political persuasions. Our political differences are natural and unavoidable, though. I mean, it just sort of happened. Our political differences are an essential adaptation. We have to do this in order to survive. And there are many dangers to us versus them thinking. We should always be wary of looking at those people over there. Remember, and how much us here are different from those over there. We should always be looking for how we're anthropology, what we have in common with every other human being on the planet. Okay, so on to the dynamics of culture. So we're not only talking about what is good and bad in terms of moral sense, it's also what is good and bad in terms of what is beautiful or what is ugly. So cool, we either shape our taste to be cool, or we shape what is cool to match our taste, depending on whether we're influencers or not. Why something means what it means. Symbols mean things in ways that are neither totally subjective nor totally objective. For example, we have this symbol here. This is the gun company. Hold on, I need to get back to where I was. We'll come back to our symbols here.